Ooh. Okay, how about now? Hey. Okay, you can hear me, but I can't hear myself. Well, that's kind of annoying. So I'm going in without any feedback audio, which is a little weird for me, but I can still hear the sound of my own voice. So as long as that monitor keeps working. What's ridiculous is I tested the monitor before I went live, and I saw my little monitor bar going, hey, yeah, you have audio. And then I muted it, walked away, started the stream, unmuted it, and then it didn't work. So I think I might need to replace my USB cable or something. So now that we've got that sorted out, welcome everybody. I see a lot of familiar names. Gundam's here, Cynthicent, BDJ Sync. Let's see who else is here. Walkwomen. Diego. J-Click. Lots of familiar names. Chosen Champ. Welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. So, as you probably already know, the Moonsale is all over, all sold out. We are now waiting for the announcement of the 4th pre-sale, which is one of the normal big sales. Usually lasts a little bit longer than 3 minutes. I'm not sure if there will be an NFT sale with that or not. We will see. And the treasure hunt is still going on, so all the clues have been revealed for the Moonsale treasure hunt. Again, I have kept myself intentionally out of the loop on this, so you cannot get any hints from me because I don't even know what the hints are. I don't know what the riddles are. I know nothing about it, but I will share the link in the chat. Hello, Diego. I think there's 2 Diegos here now. Hopefully I don't get you mixed up. I just shared the link to the Moonsale treasure hunt in the chat, so be sure to check that out. A $5,000 value land 12x12 estate is on the line. All the clues are revealed, and you just have to put all the clues together to unlock the wallet for that. So, whoop, left Discord open accidentally. So, we are going to take a look at some stuff in the Game Maker today. Hello, Dr. Dent. Hello, Esteban. And if you were with us last week, you'll remember we were trying to put together a hammer trap, or a hammer obstacle, I guess, a swinging pendulum obstacle. And I'll show you what I came up with. I did do some testing over the past week, and I wasn't able to get what I wanted to work, but I got something that almost works better. It has advantages and disadvantages, so we will talk about what the difference between them is. As more features come out for the Game Maker, how you'll be able to do things like this is going to improve. There will be hopefully better timing features, but there's a lot. We're kind of pushing the boundaries and doing things that are not added into the Game Maker. We're kind of MacGyvering things. So this is my solution to the problem, but we'll take a look at what I tried to do and figure out why it isn't working quite right. So while we're taking a look at that, I'm gonna get the giveaway started. I forgot to pull that up ahead of time. Let's get the giveaway going. So we are giving away a land, and we're only giving away a land if we get 100 views. Right now we got 32 across all 8 channels we're broadcasting on. So remember to share these streams each week, and there'll be a better chance of giving away a land. So far we've only been able to do that once. So we get more people watching, we will be able to give away bigger prizes. So let's go ahead and start the giveaway. Just a reminder, if you're joining us for the first time, you do need to be on twitch.tv/thesandboxgame in order to join, and I'm going to put that in the chat here. twitch.tv/thesandboxgame. Okay, so you go to that link and type !fountain in the chat, and that's how you enter the giveaway. And it should be, yep, it's up there. So go ahead and start typing that in the chat if you want a chance at winning a Fountain NFT. And let's get back to the game maker here. All right, so let's take a look at what we tried doing last time. So we've got our hero Jet here, and you can see I accidentally I changed something about it here. Let me fix that real quick. Play animation, idle. Okay. I tried something with it and it made it worse. So I just reverted that back. So what we were trying to do is we were trying to get this animated swinging hammer to line up with a collision box. Because if you remember, anytime we do an animation in VoxEdit, the entire area that it's in becomes the collision area. So all the way from left to right, the swing is one big collision box that we can't go through. So it doesn't really make it effective for knocking you off the path. So what I tried to do was to synchronize an obstacle with the swing of the hammer to knock into. And you can tell they're not synchronized in time right now. So the trash bin occasionally like catches up or falls behind where the hammer is. Even if I got that timing exactly right, it still wouldn't necessarily work. And the problem is that when we start the game, there's a little bit of a delay in the start of the animation and the movement of the obstacle, because there's no collision on the hammer, but there is a collision on, not quite a big enough collision, but there is a collision on the trash bin. So even when I got the timing, the amount of time that this bin takes to go back and forth the same as the swinging of the pendulum, which isn't really that hard to get the timing the same, they don't always start at the same time. So sometimes it would be close to synchronized and sometimes it would be totally off. So it really doesn't work. I did figure out why the animation wouldn't loop though. So we had changed the name to idle01. There has to be a space in it. So right now the game maker will only loop your animation if you have idle with a capital I space 01. So it's good that we know that now. So VoxEdit by default names it just idle. So you do have to do idle space 01 to get that loop in the animation. That makes life a lot easier than having to tell it to animate every rotation. So the solution that we did come up with, hi Fig Rolls. I don't know if I've ever had a Fig Roll. And thank you, Diego. Yeah, it gets pretty complicated, this stuff. So the solution here, oh, and you can see it's broken right now. So let me reload the level. And we'll open it back up. So the problem is the solution only works for one play, and it works great for the single time that you play the level, but then you have to reload the level without saving, or else you're going to break the trap. And it is a bug that I'm reporting to the dev team, so that way they can look into it and hopefully get it fixed for us. Maybe in the next update. I'm not sure how soon that's coming out. So we'll take a look at what this trap is in just a second here. There we go. So this is what it's supposed to look like. So the parts of our trap here, and I used well, this barrel is from the marketplace by William Santa Cruz, and this is a wood pillar that's part of the default set of items in the game. Diego asks, is there a way to create a vehicle to drive or something? Sort of. It doesn't. You could make a car, an object like a car, something that you could pick up, and we can actually show that the next time we open up the level. It doesn't. It's not really a vehicle solution yet, but we can do something kind of like it. So we'll put that in there, and we'll make it a pickupable item. There we go, pickable component, and we can change the offset if we need to. We'll see what it looks like when we pick it up. So basically what you're doing with the car is you're grabbing it like an item you can carry around, but you'd be kind of like inside it. Let's turn off the I don't know if we need the collision. We'll see what that looks like. I am just gonna offset it back a little bit on Z. We'll do -1 and see where that leaves us. So we'll take a look at that when we're running the game next. So if we take a look at this, and we'll save it with the car there real quick. Can you guys not see the giveaway in the chat there? I'm not seeing it on my monitor here. Oh, accidentally turned off my webcam. There we go. Now you can see it. You could throw a car. There's no throwing yet. It would be easier to kick it, and we could also do that if I duplicate this, and we can turn on collisions plus gravity and do that. We'll take a look at that. There we go. I was wondering why nobody was typing exclamation point fountain in the chat, and it's because they couldn't see the thing coming up. So let's get back to this part. So the parts that we have going on here for this swinging hammer is we've got basically our engine, our driver here, which is a message broadcaster. We've got our axle, which is a door behavior. And then we've got the hammer, which is the swinging portion. So, or the pendulum, if you will. So if we look at what is going on with this, the message broadcaster is saying swing every 2 seconds. And if we edit the logic, we can see some more features. Its broadcasting only on is set to false. So that means that every 2 seconds, it switches between true and false. This could probably be set to exactly 2, but I have it set to 2.01 just in case. Thank you, Diego. Well, hopefully we can get this working even better, because right now it's a little janky, but it's a start. So it broadcasts swing on and swing off every 2.01 seconds. And let's actually turn on collision for this. You'll see why in a minute. Then this barrel, the axle, is set to be a door behavior. And instead of playing an animation, the opening mode is set to rotate around pivot, which means that it's going to turn around its pivot point, which is this green arrow here. And it's set at a 45-degree angle, so when it opens and closes, it's going to take this path, swinging left to right. And if we edit the logic, we can see the transition duration is 2 seconds. So it's going to take 2 seconds to get from here to here. Hi, Boxstone. Another Diego. We've got like 3 Diegos watching. Nothing wrong with that. So that's going to rotate every 2 seconds. Then when it gets to the other side, this is going to say swing off, and it's going to close the door for 2 seconds, and then it's going to open the door for 2 seconds. So it just is going to go back and forth. Then this object is a child of this object. So you can see barrel is a child of pillar, is a child of barrel. So as this one rotates, it turns these along with it. Oh, okay. So we're back down to 2 Diegos. That's all right. Okay, so let's go ahead and play, and we'll take a look. So it does take it takes 2 seconds for it to start. And now you've got that pendulum swinging. So because there's collision on this barrel, that pushes us the way that we would expect the other pendulum to. Now, it's not as nice looking of an animation because it's at a linear rate. There's no gravity or acceleration to this, whereas the swinging pendulum over here has it speeds up and slows down. So I forgot to turn the rotation off for that. But because it speeds up and slows down, it has a more natural looking swing to it. Whereas this one is very rigid. It immediately stops and changes direction, but it does actually push us because there's collision calculated for the barrel. And actually, because of that, we can also do fun stuff like jump up on it, and we can climb up. So this is not only a way that you can make something to push you off a narrow path, you can also make this as an obstacle to climb up. You could actually attach anything besides a barrel to this. I don't know if you've ever been to like a fair with or an amusement park with rides, but they've got those like big boats that'll swing back and forth on a pendulum, and you can sit and ride on those. You could make something like that with this. You could attach anything you wanted to this. So there's a lot of possibilities. The main limitation is the amount of rotation. It's only going to turn 90 degrees because that's what a door is set up to do. So it's going from, I believe this is the open position to the closed position of the door, and it's just rotated 90 degrees on its side and then 45 degrees. So that way the swing is at an angle like this. You could, in theory, I'm pretty sure it does work. You could stack multiple doors as children of each other. So you could make something that spun further around by having a door, parent to door, parent to door, and then their combined rotations would take something even further. But that's going to be harder to control. Now, as far as vehicles, I don't know if this will work. Oh. Okay, so I offset it too far. Actually, I don't think I needed the offset at all. You could kind of make it look like you're driving a car like this. Just a jumping car. It's not perfect. There will be car behaviors in the future. I think the next thing that's being worked on is actually shooting mechanics. So we should be able to like shoot arrows and guns and like have launched objects soon. I'm not sure when car mechanics is coming in, but I know that's been something that's been in demand from day one, really. Even like the earliest trailers for the Sandbox were showing that there were going to be car elements, so you could do things like racing games. So that's it's definitely planned. It's just not something that's implemented yet. And then you can kick cars. We could actually Let's see, let's put this here. Oh, it doesn't hit it. I thought it would hit. There it goes. So now you can push the car in the way of that. So you could do something like a wrecking ball, knock things over. All sorts of fun stuff you can do with that. So, yeah. That's the solution for doing a swinging hammer obstacle. Now the problem is when I exit, it scrambles. And that doesn't look so great. So what's happening is the child objects of the rotated object. Yeah. The car did fly, yeah. With the collision plus gravity, there's no setting for mass yet. So everything basically has zero mass. Not zero mass, but just like really lightweight mass. And it's the same for all objects. So if you have a car or even like a whole building, you could put an entire like 4-story building here and it would have the same mass as this object. So you can kick them all like beach balls and they'll bounce off of each other. So yeah, hopefully we will get a mass setting soon, and that way physics objects will have more like realistic behavior and interaction with each other based on how heavy they are. I don't know when exactly that's planned to be in, but that should hopefully be something that we get soon. So yeah, you'll notice that the barrel here, this is fine. But this one's messed up, and this one's messed up. So this object being rotated and then having... I don't think it even has to move. I think anytime you have a rotated object that's a parent of another object, the the child object scrambles every time you play and reload. So... you can see that it still turns the correct way, but the positions are all messed up. And as we go back, it gets even more messed up. And that's going to happen every single time we load it. So we didn't save, so we're good. We can exit and we can come back, and it'll be back in the correct position again. It just makes it annoying for play testing because you have to keep on reloading the level if you want to make changes that you can save. I guess you could also... you could duplicate the objects without a parenting, because anytime you duplicate the objects, they lose their parent-child relationship. So you could create like a backup copy, and that would save time of reloading the level, but you do have to duplicate it and put it back in position every single time. So, hi Pepe. Glad you could join us today. Mass settings sound awesome. Great gameplay effects. Yep, the very first thing I did in the pre-alpha for the Game Maker was play around with the physics settings. I noticed that I could do that, and so the very first game map I ever made was you play as a little mushroom and you go around a city knocking over all the buildings, just as like you're like an alien mushroom set on world domination. Hi John. Hi Isaiah. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having fun. My kids like to hop in sometimes and talk to me, or rather talk to the audience. They don't care about me. They just want to talk in the microphone to everybody else. Boxstone says we could do death run like GTA style with cars and ramps would be fun. Yeah, I would love to see some really cool racing games and like open world racing stuff. My favorite's Burnout Paradise City, where you have that whole city to run around. It'd be cool to see what people make once there's car physics involved. No problem, John. We like having kids around. It makes it fun. So yeah, you see that this all reset, and if we look at the parent relationships here, if I select this whole thing, I can duplicate it and move it elsewhere. We can just we'll put it up out of the way. And so the parent-child relationships are not saved when we duplicate. So now all we need to do is duplicate this, pull it over, and reattach the children. So that would save us time from having to reset this every single time. Thank you, Sean. Welcome. So let's see. We can actually move this way over here. And now we've got our barrel to knock people over. And we can position it nicely over here. And move it up a little bit. And now it should swing right over the bridge and knock us off. All right, so let's save. Now, another idea that I had, which I don't think will have the same issues, and somebody did ask about this back, I think like in June, and I hadn't gotten around to it yet, was making like a catapult trap that'll launch you off your path and theoretically land you in lava, or, you know, cause damage to you. So the idea would be to make basically a door in the ground. So let's pull up a door. We're not going to do it on the bridge because it'll be easier to experiment with this outside of that setting. So we're going to pull up a door. I think this one, just because it doesn't look particularly like, I mean, it looks like a door, but we can flip it over and it will be less door-like. So we stick it in the ground. And you can see the pivot is on this side, so we want to rotate it. We're going to try to launch into the lava. So let's spin it around this way. And we want the door to... I'm trying to think of which way it's going to swing when it does actually open. Diego Buckstone asks, another idea, can you make like pressure planks to control that pendulum that could open the possibility to do a golf mini game? Oh, yes and no. Hi Gatto, glad you could join us today. So because there's no mass, there's no like pressure, but we can do that stuff with message broadcasters. So just like this barrel is broadcasting the swing message to tell this axle to turn, we can have any object become a message broadcaster. The difficulty right now is that there's no real round objects. Everything has square collision boxes, so it's kind of difficult to get something to roll. I'm hoping that we get some more options to change collision, but let's just say I didn't even need to open that. I've already got the barrel there. So like, even though this is round, it won't really roll because the collision is actually a cube. Yeah. Still a long way to go for stuff, but we're getting there. So if I turn on like collisions plus gravity and I run up to this, it'll move, but it won't really roll. See how it slides? And I could kick it and it'll tumble, and it kind of looks like it's rolling, but the behavior isn't quite like mini golf. But that's one of those things, like if we get more collision box shapes, like if we get spheres and cylinders, those would be... Oh no, I fell in the lava. Those would be the most helpful for getting that to roll. See, that stayed the same because it doesn't have the child relationships, but that one's all broken now. So if we set this to be a message broadcaster, we can have that trigger. Oop, not 41, just one. We can have that trigger whatever we want. It doesn't have to be pressure based. So it's more like automatic doors, like at a store. It'll just open, or really it's more like a garage door opener. So this is like a remote control that tells whatever it comes near to open. So you can have, let's actually put a gate. We put a gate here, and if we tell it to, we'll just say open and open, and I think that should be it. So the gate is closed. We can't go through it. We can't interact with it. I'm pressing the interact key and nothing's happening. But we kick this barrel to it. Oh, it might not be close enough to the origin. Let's see. Come on. You can do it. And of course, it's not going to work right. Well, what did I do wrong? Message required, open, play animation. We don't need health. Play animation, opening, closing. What did I do wrong? Transition duration. I shouldn't need to change any of that. What's up with this one? This one says open. Oh, I think the delay was just too long. So only on. I think that'll work. And we'll make the range bigger. We'll try that now. Hey, no problem. You know, that's why we have this here, to answer questions, and of course I kicked it really weird. Is it gonna work? I might need another thing to trigger it. Yeah. So the difficulty, so the problem is that it needs a 2-part trigger, which is a little more complicated. So right now, broadcast only on, that means that it says open on, but it only says it once. So we want it to, and we don't want it to have only on false, because then it starts saying on off every 1 second. And that would mean the gate opens and closes. Actually, I should be able to show you what that looks like. Hi, Lazarts. Welcome. Let's push that over here. So it should, yeah, so opens and closes. And opens and closes. So, so that's not what we want to have happen. What we want is for this to only broadcast on, but it needs to wait until it's in range of the gate. How do you stream to 3 platforms at once? We use a tool called Restream. It's a premium service that allows you to broadcast to a whole bunch. We're actually broadcasting to 8 different channels. So we're on 2 Twitch channels, 2 YouTube channels, Periscope, 2 Facebook channels. I think there's an 8th thing. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm not sure. We're broadcasting a whole bunch of different things, because I have my own personal ones, and then we also have this official Sandbox channels. I thought that's what Periscope was, Gundam Z. Hi, Science. Glad you could make it today. Yeah, it's really convenient, because I just have to hit stream on OBS and I don't have to like set up a whole bunch of different things each time. I mean, there's a lot of setup involved at the beginning, but now that it's all set up, I just hit one button and it starts all 8 streams at once. So I lost track of where I was with this. So we've got, we want this to broadcast a message. We'll say message broadcaster. We're going to say unlock, or we can have it say trigger. That's fine. So that's going to trigger, and we want that in a range of like, we don't want that in too big of a range. We're actually going to make this invisible. And it's going to not have collision. So no collision. So as far as we're concerned, this won't be here. It's just going to tell the barrel to open the gate. How about you make the barrel pickable? Well, the idea was that it's a pressure plate for like mini golf. So we're not going to pick up the thing. We're just going to have it roll to it and unlock the gate. So message broadcaster is, well, we want that to be visible. Did that? Okay. I don't know why I made that invisible. Broadcast only on, true, and then wait for message trigger. So I think I kind of broke up my thought accidentally. So just to recap, the barrel, if it says only on false, that means it's going to turn on, off, on, off, on, off, and it makes the gate open and close constantly, which we could see looked kind of funny, but was not very useful. Then if we have broadcast only on, that means that it broadcasts open right at the start of the level, and it doesn't keep broadcasting it. It just announces it once, and then by the time the barrel gets to the gate, it doesn't actually ever open it. So we want it to broadcast only on, but only when it gets a trigger. So when this barrel gets close enough to our pillar here, which is invisible and causes no collisions, we won't see it during the game. When it gets close enough to that, this triggers the barrel, which will then trigger the gate. So I know it's like a bunch of steps, but it should work. Let me just make sure we're going to have it broadcast with, let's see, we're going to broadcast it every 0.5 seconds. We don't want it to be too often. And broadcast only on is set to false. So this is going to go on, off, on, off, on, off. And then as soon as the barrel comes near, the on is going to trigger this to open the gate. All right, let's see if it works. So we're going to gently roll it. Maybe a little bit closer. Whoa. Obviously, it doesn't really matter which side. And it opened. And it worked. Yay! So now even if we kick the barrel away, the gate has been unlocked. And it will stay open because there's nothing that will tell it to close. So that was it. So you could, there's a bunch of different, things that you can do with that. You can make it so that way a quest item will open a passageway, like a key. You could have it be, you could make an animation of like a gate getting smashed open, and you could have an object like a boulder come barreling down, and it would play the smash animation, and the gate would all fall to pieces, and collision would be turned off, and then you could walk through. You could do that with like dynamite, so you could blow up the gate. It doesn't have to be just like an opening metal gate. You could do this with any sort of object you want. So that is a way to have an item cause an animation to occur that will change the collision properties of that gate and allow you to pass through. So That was all a tangent from what I was gonna do. So we still got time though. We still got like 45 minutes. So let's go ahead and let's save that just so we have it as an example for later. Did I miss any questions? Did anybody say something? GTA versus runners versus Zentornos. I don't know what a Zentorno is. Somebody's gonna have to explain that to me. So let's make that door trap. So there's two different ways we could go about this trap. This could be a door that opens and launches you, or it could be a door that opens and drops you through a hole, and it's really just about changing when the collision is and which direction the door swings in. It's a car model from GTA 5. Oh. Okay. Is that like a real car, a Zentorno? Like a Lamborghini or something fancy? Or just within GTA? Now, the issue with the launcher is that we would have to do it similar to this. Because the way doors with an animation work, actually it's not as big of a problem as I thought. So even though this is a door and it has an opening and closing animation, we're not going to use those. We're going to do the rotate around pivot because that gives us the correct collision. Actually, now that I think about it, that probably isn't going to work the way I expect. So let me just see what this looks like in a test. The difficulty that I'm imagining, and I'm not sure if it'll work or not, is whether or not this has collision for its entire rotation. And can I activate it? I can only activate it from down there. Maybe if I face this way. So for whatever reason, I can't activate it while I'm standing on it. Well, that's no good. Oops. The fountain looks perfect. Thank you. Samel, welcome. Actually, and remind me, I'll see if I can play the fountain animation later because I figured out a way we can make it loop. It's basically the same as what we did to get the, well, it's not up here anymore, to get the hammer to loop. Thank you, Pierre. Goodbye. Are you leaving? I hope you get a chance to watch again. Thank you for joining us. So let's see. Let me put a door down that's facing the right way. So to set the lava to kill, you do that on a per character basis. So you can set any object to damage. So I could set the grass to be damaging if I wanted. So you set edit logic on your avatar, and you can do this with any asset that has a health component. So you could have let's say like I could put the lava to damage a barrel, and you could knock the barrel into the lava and it'll lose health and get destroyed. So we can set block damage to lava. You do have to manually type in the name, which is not ideal, but that'll probably improve. So just capital L. I'm not sure if it matters if you have the capital or not. Let's test it. Lowercase L and see if it still works. And we'll have it do 5 damage so we don't die too fast. I mean, you would die pretty fast if you landed on lava. Well, I guess not. I heard that you don't actually sink into lava in real life. You would just like burn. I died pretty fast anyway. So yeah, I guess having the lowercase L for lava still works. And I could set like any block to be a damaging block just by adding more to the list. You can always add more. And oh, this is new. Well, it's not really new. You know, I hadn't really noticed this before. So along with the health, you can have the death of something send a message. So let's say you wanted to have the barrel be destroyed when it lands in the lava. So it's going to be damaged. It's going to have that health component and get damaged after it falls into the lava. You could have it say unlock. You could actually have it send, I guess you could have it sent to different items across your map with the send message too. But having that send message is a way that if you say you make a boss enemy, you could have it send a message of like victory and you could win the game. Or you could have it send a message to an item spawner, so the death of the boss will drop an item. Or you could have it unlock a gate. You could do anything with that. So I think that's been there for a while, and it's not been something that I've really had to use yet. So that's just a cool thing to keep in mind as a way to trigger activities by the destruction of an item. So that's pretty cool. So what were we doing? We were trying to get this door to collide and make a launcher. So I know that I can make this work using the same as the pendulum idea. We're just rotating the pendulum really to catapult. But the thing that I'm trying to figure out is if the door has collision while it turns. And I'm not sure if it does or not, so let's find out. Hi, Esteban. This game is now in beta. No, this is actually alpha, so we're before beta. This is the Game Maker alpha. So there's still a lot of features that need to be added. And why doesn't this door open? Oh, because it doesn't have a message. That's weird. Usually by default the door has interact. There we go. Okay, so when it's open, collision is totally off, and when it closes, it's totally on. Okay, but in the process of opening it, it does still have collisions. You see how it pushes me? So that's what we want. We don't really care about the collision after. We're just looking for that initial kick. Because if we set this to really fast, let's say like 0.05, that's going to be a real fast open for the door. And we get on this side. That's actually too fast. It's so fast that it doesn't move us. So let's leave that collision as it is. Now the thing that we want to do is make it set off automatically when we walk on it. So we're going to need a message broadcaster that's attached to the player. So yeah, Esteban, the Game Maker is an alpha, and that kind of means, I mean, different companies like have different standards of like what they'll say means alpha and means beta and means final release. Like it's really just about like what the design goals are. Use that one. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to define when the Game Maker leaves alpha or beta. I'm not part of the Game Maker development team. I'm more about the game design stuff and creating things in it. So I'm kind of at their mercy for when they release those things. But I do know that there's still a ton more features. We're hoping to get or not hoping, like I know that they're going to add them, they haven't gotten there yet. Shooting mechanics, car mechanics, there should be more like storytelling, dialogue options, inventories, better like combat systems. There's going to be holdables. That should be actually coming very soon, is the avatar being able to pick things up and hold them in their hand, not just like kind of carry them in the air. You'll actually be able to equip things like weapons and tools. So there's a lot of features coming. I don't know if those are all planned for before it goes from alpha to beta. I just know that we're saying it's an alpha right now. Lazarus asks, does the lava block say blank damage? Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble reading that. Okay, I think I understand. So you could have a whole bunch of different things damage you. Yes, you could add so the damaging blocks is only for blocks, but we could put in anything. We could put in stone, we could put in grass, we could put in dirt, we could put in water. You can make any of the terrain blocks, which are all of these things. You can pick any of the names of any of these to add to that list to damage you. So it's when you touch them, you don't have to like fall down inside them. It's just like walking across the top of them is enough to get damage from them. Or like touching a wall that's made out of these things can damage you. As far as items damaging you, there's two different ways items can damage you. They can either be a void, which is an instant death. So if you do a void behavior, which is this one, anything within the red, and you can change the size of the red, anything within the red zone will get destroyed depending on what your list is. So you can have a void destroy blocks, you can have it destroy assets, and you can tell it which assets and which blocks it'll destroy. So you could have it destroy all the stones in this area. It would be like TNT and it would blow up the whole area. Or you can have it be an area of death for the player. So you could have, let's say you made a sky map. So let's say you like made like a city in the clouds and you want people to be able to fall from the sky. You could create a void zone around the entire floor area. So that way when you fall, you die from going through there. Kind of like Super Mario World. There were levels where you could fall off the edge of the map, or really all the Mario games. If you fall down into like canyons and stuff, you die. So the other way to have assets damage you, so like I said, the void is an instant death. Then you can also have a asset either be a predator or a fighter. So a predator will hunt. Really, predators and fighters are kind of very similar in the way they behave. A fighter will go looking for enemies to fight, whereas a predator will look for prey to eat and like replenish. Like predators will get hungry and they'll hunt when they're hungry. Fighters will just go looking for a fight to pick. So those are really the only way things can damage you. So there's not really a way, if we made a swinging axe, say, instead of a swinging hammer, you couldn't really have it damage you partially because you would need to set it as like the fighter or predator, and it would try to walk away from from its swinging path because they hunt, they like walk around and try to attack. So you wouldn't really be able to control that correctly to do damage. So you would need to use the void, and that's an instant death. So hopefully in the future we'll get something kind of like the void that will just cause damage and won't be an instant death, and then we can have some more variety with like spike traps and stuff that won't necessarily kill you immediately. So Boxstone likes the hotbar. Yeah, the hotbar is very convenient. I load it up with everything. I was actually just talking to one of the UE designers this morning, and we're keeping the hotbar for future versions. There will be some modifications to it to make it better and make the asset selection a quicker, simpler process. But the hotbar is here to stay. And hi CGSec, I'm glad you're liking this. And yeah, the fourth land sale should be announced soon. I don't know how soon, but it's we're all done with the moon pre-sales, but the fourth pre-sale should be coming up. And yeah, you don't have to own land to use the game maker. You do, if you want to get the early access, you do need to own land or be in one of our creative programs. We've got the Creator Fund and we've got the Game Maker Fund, which give early access to this stuff. So it is a good idea to own some land if you want to get into the Game Maker as quickly as possible. But once it's fully launched, all of this is being done locally on my computer right now. You don't have to own a land to make things and play with things in this. You need the land to publish it. So there are options for those who don't have the money to invest. It's not going to lock everybody out from the creative process. But if you want to take advantage of the server space to host your game and to run multiplayer stuff, you do need to own land. So there are some really big benefits to owning land, and I definitely recommend trying to get at least one in a pre-sale. Cool. And Wataz, I'm not sure how to say that. You can you play just kind of like Minecraft controls. So you can see that I wasn't done setting up that crate, so it kind of launched me up in the air. But it's normal WASD keys. Hold shift to sprint. You can jump with the space bar. There will be a crouch. The animation is in there, but it doesn't, there's no crouch control yet. You can actually see the whole list of controls right here. So yeah, the play mode is just that for right now. You see C for crouch is in there, E for interact. The crouch does not currently do anything. It will eventually though. So let's finish setting up this trap before I forget it. So we're going to say, we'll call it step for the message, and this will be a message broadcaster that says step, and it's going to broadcast in a very small area. Can I make that smaller? I don't want to make it too small. We're going to have to walk right over this spot. It gets a little complicated to set up where exactly triggers occur, and there's a few different things we can do to improve that, but we're going to keep it simple for now just to show that the mechanic works. So this door rotates around pivot when it hears step, and it should open backwards like this. It should rotate out and up to launch us into the lava. Should. So the message broadcaster here, it doesn't need any health, but it does say step in a small broadcast range. Yeah, I can't wait till the game editor goes public either, because it's going to be really amazing to see what everybody's doing. And there's already, the people in the early access are already creating really cool things. It's really exciting to see what they're making. And I hope pretty soon I can start showcasing some of that stuff on stream, start playing the levels other people are making. Yeah, once it opens up for everybody, I mean, there's going to be stuff all over the place. It's going to be amazing to see what gets created. And there's a lot of people who own land who are interested in either renting it. Some have even talked about giving like free rent. So like you could maybe like have your game up for a month or something like that, which could be a great way for people just starting out to see what they can do with it and get some exposure for it, and maybe get some land of their own to keep going with it after their lease, if you will, is done. So let's see, we're going to put 0 delay. We don't want it to open and close constantly, so we're going to put a delay of 1 or 0.5. There we go. And it's going to turn on and off and is not visible. And for whatever reason, I don't know why this is, when you parent an object to the avatar, it works fine. So even though the avatar can rotate and walk all around, when you parent to it, nothing bad happens. So the names are all messed up right now, but that's okay. That's the avatar, and that's the crate. So we're gonna make that a child. So now wherever we go, the crate goes. Oh. I did this once before. I forgot to turn off collision, so now we're just floating up with our child. Whoa. Oh, that's exciting. I'm not even pressing anything right now. So you got to remember to turn off collision. No collision. There we go. Okay, so now that does move. So what happens when we walk on it? Okay, it doesn't really push us sideways. It just kind of pushes us up. So we may need to modify this a little bit. Make it go back down. It kind of works. It's not ideal. So what we can do is we can make a bigger one. So let's get rid of the door. And let's find a really big item here. Let's see. A ladder could work. Actually, I think a ladder would probably be a really good one, because the ladder pivot is down at the bottom. So let's rotate it. Put it down like that. And we're going to give it the door behavior. And our message is step. We're going to rotate around pivot. And I'm not sure. That's actually probably the front. Oh, you know what? That's not going to be the right pivot. Darn it. We need something where the pivot's on the side. That's actually why I used the door in the first place. Trying to think of something that will rotate. This will kind of work. It's actually like kind of huge for what we want it for, but being able to make custom assets will make this process a lot simpler. But let's put this right here. The pivot's actually in kind of a weird spot. I'm not sure which way it's going to rotate. Let's find out. So let's make it a door. And step. And rotate around pivot. And let's see how that works. Okay, so that's all right. So let's see what happens when we step on it. And yeah, there we go. was weird. Okay, so that sort of works. We can make it a bigger turn. So if we say that the door starts in the open state, it's going to rotate the other way. Hi, Azrael. Okay, so see how it's going the wrong way, sort of. So we want it to get flipped around, and then it should work the way we want. Try that. Oh. There we go. So the thing with the message broadcasters is it's broadcasting to the origin. So Azrael, what we are doing today is earlier I showed how to finish off that hammer trap we were doing the other day. Or a hammer obstacle, really. I keep calling it a trap, but it's really just an obstacle. So we got this to work. The problem is just when you parent items to rotated items, the children get all weird every time you exit the play mode. We showed how to open up a gate automatically when you roll an item to it. And now we're making a lava launcher. So we actually want to make this broadcast range a lot bigger. Because the origin for this is way over here. So we want it to get set off when we're like over here. So let's enlarge that broadcast range to like, it's a little too big, like that. So let's see what happens when we stand on the end. Get a little bit closer. And it moves too fast. So we got to slow it down just a little bit. We'll say 0.4 and see if that's too fast of a collision. Yep, still too fast. Actually, if we hide it underground, we might get a better result because the difficulty is that it's starting with us already kind of inside of it. So this way it'll come up and hit us. There we go. That worked a lot better. So if we had time to make like some custom assets that were like fit to the right size, because really nothing that we have except for the doors have a pivot on the side that we want. Most things pivot in the middle. So we want something that pivots on the side. And this one kind of works that way because it's way over here. It gives us a longer pendulum. And then we just have to make sure it's slow enough that once it does hit us, we actually collide with it. Because if you have it set to be too fast, then the collision rate, it's like it skips colliding with us. And that's a common issue with game creation, is that if you have something happening faster than the frame rate, by the time that moves up, it actually like passes us. Yeah, so see if I go, whoops, if I go in the middle there, it skips me. But if I have it about here, it still skipped me. Sometimes it works. Actually, I think I confused it. What did we do? Now it's colliding on the wrong side. I think it got confused. There we go. Ooh. So that's one thing you can do. We can also flip it around. So if we flip it upside down and we move it over, like say like that, we can make this a bridge that will dump us into the lava. So we get here, and then it'll drop us in. And it's basic. It's the same principle, and it works easier because we're not relying on the collision to catapult us out. Hi, Barm. Welcome. So we're really doing the same thing with a catapult and with a trapdoor. It's just that because the trapdoor turns off the collision and allows the gravity to like drop us, it works a little bit better than trying to launch us into the air, where it can, in order to get the physics that make it look convincing like we just got launched, and is something that is more difficult for us to run away from. In the same process, we almost make the catapult go too fast that it clips right through us. So having the floor drop is a little bit easier. All right, so we got about 15 minutes left. Let's go ahead and let's make sure that our giveaway is working. Okay, giveaway is still up. And yeah, it's !fountain. Make sure you're on the twitch.tv/thesandboxgame. That's the only channel that it tracks the entries from. It says it's only watched it for 6 minutes. I think this giveaway tool, I think we need to find a better one because it keeps disconnecting while we're waiting for the giveaway to complete. So if this doesn't work correctly, we'll reset it. So everybody make sure you join. The last person that it says joined was BDJ Sync. So I'm not sure if that's actually who the last person to join was. Yeah, I don't see you being added to the list of BARMs. So everybody make sure you rejoin the giveaway, because I'm going to stop it and restart it. We're going to ignore the result here because it's not updating. So sorry, Dr. Dent, we're going to try it one more time. We're going to restart the giveaway, and everybody try to join in now. We really got to get a better giveaway tool that works for the entire stream. So !fountain in the chat, and that will pull you up. Let's see. So does anybody have any questions? Because we went over a whole bunch of stuff today. We can actually we'll reset this so everybody can see that. We're gonna duplicate it and move it over and fix the parent-child relationships. Move that down. Got to move up a little bit. That should be pretty close. Yeah, Barm, you're gonna want to rejoin because it didn't pull you up from last time. No space between the ! And the fountain. You want it to be all one thing. That might have actually been why you didn't show up last time. Yeah, don't forget to rejoin the giveaway, everybody, because I'm pretty sure it did time out. Hi, Michael. This is well, we don't really have a name for this game. We could call this Trap Test or something like that. It's this is for the Sandbox Game Maker. So some people are a little confused as to like what the Sandbox is. The Sandbox is really a game creation platform. So you can make your own games with it. And that's kind of how all the Sandbox games have been. The Sandbox and the Sandbox Evolution for mobile there were some pre-made levels and stuff in them, but a big part of it was creating your own game worlds. It was all about making your own place to play in. So this is carrying on where the Sandbox Evolution left off. The Sandbox and the Sandbox Evolution were both 2D games, and This one's also called the Sandbox, which was the same name as the first one. You can call it like Sandbox 3D if it makes it like easier for you to understand. But you've got a bunch of different assets. These are just the ones. Most of these are ones that just come with the game maker. But there's a whole marketplace that has I think it's over 700 items in it right now. We can take a quick look at the marketplace. So let's just connect these because people who just joined us didn't actually see this in action. So this one connects to this one, and this one connects to that one. All right, play. So now we've got a pendulum trap. So it's not moving very fast, and it's a little bit limited in motion, but does actually knock us over in theory. Why is it not colliding with us? There it goes. It worked better over there. I don't know what happened that time. So it was working great earlier, and then it just didn't want to knock us over. So we did that, and we've got that to dunk us into the lava, and that kills us. It kills us. I don't know. I think I am running too many things on my computer, and it's starting to get a little crazy. And then we knock that, and it opens the gate. And giveaway should be. Did you leave and come back, Alpha Dog? Just re-enter it, because the tool stopped working correctly, so new entries weren't showing up. Did I say Alpha Dog Perry? I think I had a little dyslexic moment and kind of combined, like I put your name in the wrong order. Yeah, just exclamation point fountain, and that'll join you back in. Oh no, you're in there. So we're gonna do the giveaway now. And Chosen Champ is the chosen champ of the giveaway. So I think you might have won once before, Chosen Champ. So we'll I might already have your Ether wallet if you did win. I think you won before. I don't remember. So we'll get that sorted out after the stream is done. And then somebody wanted to talk about economics real quick. So we still got about 10 minutes left. Was it Michael who was asking about... Yeah, it was Michael who was asking about the game. And then CGSec wanted to talk about the economics. And Pepe said, speaking of giveaways, once the asset in the marketplace are minted, are we able to give away our thingies as well? So, yes and no. Sorry, Michael, you have to be on the Twitch stream in order to enter the giveaway. So the giveaway tool that we use, I'm going to try to find a better one, because this one likes to time out. But in order to enter the giveaway, you do have to be on twitch.tv/thesandboxgame. It only tracks the exclamation point fountain if you're on Twitch, because it watches the chat for that. So I try to remind everybody several times throughout, but sometimes I forget right at the end to say to join us on Twitch in order to do that. And I think you need a Twitch account in order to enter the chat. So it's not everybody has Twitch. But anyway, let's go ahead and exit this, and we can take a look at the marketplace real quick. Chosen says you won some sand before, so I don't know if I wouldn't have your wallet from a sand winning, but we can. I can whisper to you on Twitch as soon as the stream is over. So watch your whispers in about 9 minutes, and we will take and I'll get you your Ether wallet then. plant creature trap would be a new build. Yeah, so you could do the plant creature. Are you thinking like the was it a piranha plant? I think it's a legendary, right? Earth Golem, maybe it's epic. Let's see. Well, these aren't epic. It stopped. The filter doesn't quite work right. What's it called? Piranha plant? No. Large carnivorous plant. That's what it's called. So you could, if you had this in your game, you could have it spawn as an enemy, which would be pretty simple to do. So you could have it not be apparent on the map, and then when somebody walks into the range that you want it to grow, it actually has a spawn animation. So it could pop out of the ground like that. All that is underground. So it does have a burrow idle. So some of these animations are not accessible yet with the current behaviors. You'll be able to use more of these as things get more complicated with the behaviors. You'll be able to choose things like burrow and stuff like that. Spawn underground or behind a wall. Yeah, you could totally do that. You would use the message broadcaster like I set up for the feat for having it dump you into the lava. You would use the exact same technique to set off the fact that the player is in a certain area, and then there would be a spawner item which would spawn this. So we would actually be able to do that right now with the current options. You wouldn't have these nice spawn animations. They wouldn't show up yet. Eventually you'll be able to access those. So who was it? CG something? CG Sec asked about economics. So the way the game maker, or the way the sandbox in general works, is it's a user generated content platform. So all of the assets that you see right now, almost all of them are from people in the creator fund. A few of them are in the chat right now. Some of them are from people in our game maker fund as they make assets to put on their own maps. And then a few of the others are contest winners. So I think, do I have any contest winners here that you can see? There's a lot of content that was recently made by our creator fund and game maker fund people, so it might be a little bit harder for me to find somebody that was a contest winner. Let's see if I can remember anybody who did it recently. The Radiant Cat, I think, won the contest a week or two ago. Is Chimp-Bastion on with us still? I think he was here earlier, wasn't he? Or was that Necrobomicon? I don't think Chimp-Bastion showed up today. But regardless, I'm pretty sure this was a contest winner here. And eventually the marketplace will open up for everybody. So anybody will be able to join and upload their artwork. Okay, thank you, Gata. I was pretty sure I saw that from the contest. So pretty soon the marketplace is going to open up for everybody. People will be able to publish their own work. These are NFTs, which means non-fungible tokens, which means that when it says that there's 10 of them, like right here, this was a contest winner. So did some custom eating animations. There was a dance. Which one was it? Is it Taunt? I don't know. I think it's like down below the list. I might not be able to see it. There it is. Taunt. Great little animation from Sissipe. Yeah, I think this is what what made it win the contest. It's just such a great animation, the helmet bouncing and everything. So the 10 available copies, that means that for published games, there can only be 10 of them. They can only show up in 10 games or 10 users' games, I think. I'm pretty sure it's specific to the number of users. So when this goes up for sale, when the marketplace opens, there will be 10 copies of it for sale, and you can buy it. We can actually take a look at my inventory and what I've bought. So you can see I have a couple copies of these, which I could resell in the future. Now, I can place multiple of these sandbox castles on my lands. So I know that I can place more than one on one land, just like things with like grass and trees and stuff. You're not going to use just one of them. So I could fill up a map with these if I wanted to. I'm pretty sure you could put it across multiple maps if you publish. And you really only need to own one copy of an item. Owning multiple copies just means that you are able to resell them later and still own however many you have left. The sand coin fountains are what I'm giving away. I have 19 of these left. If I was to give away all of these, then I wouldn't be able to publish any lands with the sand coin fountain, but anybody for free can still, as long as they have the game maker, but for free, they can add these to their inventory to play with them or test them. So all I have to do, I could grab a super rare asset, get a legendary. I can add this to my inventory and put it in my game to play it, but I don't own it, so I can't publish a game with this. So it allows, see, there's only one copy of these. Only one person, I don't even remember who bought it. Somebody bought it. One person actually owns this and can publish their game with it. But anybody can click that check mark and add it to their inventory to experiment with it. Gatto asks, can someone buy an asset, then modify it, and then sell back a modified version of it? It is not possible to modify a bought asset. So when you buy this, you don't get the voxel file for it. The file that actually gets put in your item cache, I think, is like a GLTF or something, but it doesn't have a file extension. I'm not sure what the format is of the files when they download to the game maker. So when I add this to my inventory and I start up the game maker, it's going to download this to my cache. But it's not something that I can go and just edit and republish. And that keeps ownership with the original artist of the design. So Tybalt, one of our top artists here, I think he's technically the art director. He can publish new versions of this. He could change the blue to green or red or orange. He could make ones with different arms, and he could publish as many as he wants of modified versions of this, but he's the only one with the Vox Edit files that make this. And then Azrael says, if I create assets for my game, do I have to make them available in the marketplace? No, you do not. So I do have a video that's made. Actually, it's on the Create page. If you go to the Create tab on the Sandbox website and you go down here, how to upload publishing to the marketplace, these two videos explain the process. And after you upload, you don't actually have to publish it to the marketplace. You log in with your same Sandbox account to the game maker, and it will download into your inventory and you can use it in the game maker. That's actually how we test assets before we publish them to the marketplace, just to make sure everything's good. Hi Fox, welcome. Yeah, Yes, yeah, we want to make sure that artists are well protected. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's about enabling the artists to do their best work and to reward them for doing that work and protecting their work and making sure that people can't just steal it. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I got to run. We went just a 1 minute long, so we did okay on time today. I will be back again Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we're gonna try to go back to our wizards little camp outside of a city and keep on working on that. All right, so don't go away, Chosen Champ. I'm gonna whisper to you in the chat real quickly and get your Ether wallet, and hopefully I will see you all on Saturday.